Hey guys, it's Greg. I'm gonna try to do the best I can to get through this. Uh, Pain level today is extremely high. Um, MRI is on the 11th. See a neurosurgeon, neuro guy on the 22nd of July. So, and I woke up this morning and the pain was what I classified as a 9 2 days ago, 3 days ago now. Because the reason I didn't give 10 was I haven't given birth, so I don't know if they said that's the worst pain. So I said a 9, and now I'm at an 18 or 20. I don't know what happened last night in the bed or what happened, but something else happened. So I'm outside. I'm trying to do my best to stay out of bed, but probably going to wind up back there. I've got a theory too about pain and what's going on and things. Something yesterday, I did some research on something. Okay. This video is going to be about phrases and things that get inserted into our language, and I guess you could say verbiage. I'm not sure if that really qualifies or not, based on the technical definition of what that is. But if way back when I was doing my theological studies, if I remember right, it was a blog or an article that I came across, and there was this weird word in there that I'd never heard about, and it wasn't in the Greek, and I couldn't find it in the Bible. And this is when I was doing studies on uh, uh, the mercy seat and the ark and the Holy of Holies and whatnot. And sorry, um, there was a word that kept coming up, and I was pronouncing it wrong, like everybody else. Shekinah is what I kept saying. Well, the other week or the other few nights ago or whenever, I don't remember when I was telling Matt about it, I was talking about it, and I actually called a rabbi yesterday and asked him about this particular word. I didn't exactly tell him why I was asking. He asked, and I told him I was just interested because it wasn't, it was something I've never heard of before, and uh, I was trying to do some research on it, and I'll get to that in a minute. But we got to look at to make this point stick. I've got to tell you some other things that have been. Sorry about this camera shaking, but I'm holding it with one hand, and that's probably aggravating. Let's try this again. That's probably just as bad. Let's see if I can just lay this down or kind of hold it like that. There we go. Lone shooter, active shooter, grassy knoll, stuff like that. Words that get introduced into language that did not exist before, and they get placed into our consciousness, and then next thing you know, everybody uses those terms, and so we've got, like, love you to the moon and back, or to the moon, Alice. That's not used quite as much anymore. But things that get placed into our language by either media, the military, or by pop culture. So, I mean, sure, those are some off the top of my head. I probably should have did a little more, try to find a couple more phrases than that. But I think you get the idea. Okay, the one I want to talk about is Shekinah. But I spoke with a rabbi yesterday because once I discovered what this meant, I realized that it was kind of a wordplay on one of the phrases that people use today, or used a lot during the between 2003 and 2010 or so. Um, but I called the rabbi and I was talking to him, and he said that the proper pronunciation for that is uh, Shekinah. Shekinah. It's the sh. You know how the Jewish Hebrew sh. Shekinah. Shekinah. Something like that. Um, but it did that really kind of cemented what I thought as being a play on words. He told me that that is actually post-biblical. And then he started saying that it's more of the mystic realm. And I said, wait a minute. So you're telling me that this is Kabbalistic teaching? He said, oh, that's exactly what I'm telling you. So now I'm definitely convinced, 100%, that the phrase that they used was tied to this, because in the Kabbalist point of view, Shekinah means the divine presence of God. Now, from what I understand, I could not get anybody to answer at a mosque. I tried to do some research and talk to someone of, Islamic faith about that, so couldn't get anyone to answer. So I can't confirm exactly what this means for them, but from the best I could find, it translates to tranquility. But Shekinah sounds a lot like shock and awe. And to me, shock and awe is deliberately put there because it does sound like Shekinah. And even Muslims know what that word is, and especially Hebrews. And it being a Kabbalist, from the Kabbalah and Kabbalist point of view, which is not even biblical, it's post-biblical, it's mystic stuff. To me, that just makes a lot more sense. That it was actually used on purpose. I mean, we know it's used on purpose anyway, but to what extent, So, I was telling Matt that, God, way back when, all the way up to probably about 2006 or so, at work, being a maintenance technician and mechanic, we used to play jokes on each other all the time, pranks. We'd put grease on doorknobs, or put grease on the earpiece of the telephone so that when you picked it up and put it to your ear, you had grease all in your ear, stuff like that. We'd put up papers. We'd print up bulletins and put up, say, for certain groups to meet in a room at such and such time, and then they'd go in there and there wouldn't be nothing going on. Pranks. But, once we got somebody on one, it was shock and awe, baby, and that was going around like crazy. And, the American people, they just embraced that, shock and awe. Well, I read an article today, actually, on that. And this guy was saying shock and awe. Why not just say fright and terror? He said, because terrorists don't call themselves terrorists. So instead of saying fright and terror, they came up with shock and awe. Okay, I understand the meaning that, yes, that you might as well say fright and terror because, of what took place. But to me, the term shock and awe was not meant to, you know, go with the sensibilities of Americans and, you know, their sensitivity to words and things. Shock and awe was used to be shuck and awe, you know. And now, that's the research that I've done. Uh, I've done, you know, when it came up years ago, you know, I just kind of didn't really think nothing of it. I didn't know it was post-biblical. I just know that I could never find it in the Bible, looking through all the Hebrew lexicon and, you know, all that. But there is a word that the rabbi told me that is in the Bible, and it's actually Shekinah is another word based off the root Shekinah, and Shekinah means in Hebrew is like the divine spirit of God, and that is in the Bible. That's in Exodus, the cloud that was over the Israelites through the wandering through the wilderness. It's alluded to in Acts, and there's other New Testaments books that have it. Um, but that's based off the Greek. You know, the New Testament is based off the Greek, uh, which was based off of the older Hebrew. Uh, well, I mean, not that's not to say that I'm not saying that the Hebrews ever translated the New Testament. What I'm saying is based on the fact that the New Testament was written by Jews, which spoke Hebrew. When it was written in Greek, it was their point of view. So they had to get the closest word to what they could to the word Shekinah. Anyway, uh, going on the theory that, you know, what Matt usually calls the great unwashed, which is what we are. You know, usually when we wake up, life starts to go bad for us at times, and it, I'm you're going to be hard to convince me that that actually is not taking place, because once I talked to that rabbi yesterday, and he told me to give him a call back anytime I wanted to talk about anything, because we talked and it was a very uh, good conversation, and I explained to him I was not trying to offend him. I'm just, you know, trying to do some research and information, and this guy knew his stuff. I mean, he was looking stuff up for me left and right. And but I mean, he told me right off bat, off the, you know, he knew that that was not naturally Hebrew, that was a mystic, Kabbalistic point of view. And today I wake up in twice the amount of pain. Was it because I found something yesterday? I don't know. Was it because I tried to find something yesterday? I don't know. Maybe it was I just rolled over in my sleep and turned and the nerve got pinched worse or something. I don't know. That's possible. I mean, that's probable. But it's actually also possible that when we start finding things and we wake up, and especially if we find something that's kind of somewhat profound, maybe we get punished a little bit. And believe me, brother, this is punishment. Any much more than this, and I'm calling 911 saying, take me to the hospital. I'm actually, it's not that hot out here, and I'm actually sweating. It feels that like tingly, cold sweat feeling. And for everyone, if you're still with me, for everyone that commented on the last video, I saw everything and I appreciate it, and I've been wanting to get back with everybody, and I will. I still haven't really straightened the computer out yet. That's the one computer. I can do it on another one, I guess. I mean, it's not like I'm lacking for computers. I've got 4 laptops, and one's a Linux machine, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I could do that, so I'll do what I can to get back with you. And I'm not sure who it was said that somebody deleted their response. Uh, unless somebody's being like obscene, um, please don't delete responses. I don't want to be the one to have to, and I don't get very many comments anyway, so, but I don't want to have to be the one that goes through and starts managing that junk too. Uh, as I open the comments up and I leave everything unless it's something obscene or what I consider extremely blasphemous, or and even then I should probably still leave that up, but I can't in my spirit leave something like that up on my channel. Um, but other than that, please be your own monitors. Don't If somebody puts a reply to you that you don't like, uh, please don't delete it. And if you want to argue about it, I don't care. That's between you. But as long as there's nothing obscene in there, or something like that. Just for whoever that was, I can't remember who it was now. I'd have to go back and look. I think it was Theodora 94. I think that's who it was that said that their stuff got deleted, and I think that's who gave me the email. And I'm going to email you. I promise. Um, I can't remember right now, so. But I'm not replying through this phone. I'm having to do this on the phone again because I haven't taken the time to do the computer. But in the past week, I had several doctor visits, and I've been asleep a lot. I've been in the bed a lot. I'm trying to stay out of bed, but it's just getting. I can't walk too good, so. But sorry, I'm rambling again. Anyway, Shekinah and Shekinah to me is just a play on words. With Shekinah being, in Kabbalistic point of view, the divine supreme presence of God. Now, and that's supposedly translating to tranquility for Muslims. Now, I can't confirm that. I haven't spoke with anyone, but I looked it up, and that's the best I could find. So this video might be a little premature regarding what the Muslim side of that would be. But even with it being from the mystic Kabbalistic point of view, regarding anyone that's into the Kabbalah, they would know what, especially if you're high up in it, they know exactly what Shekinah and shock and awe mean. So, yeah, to me, when he told me that, and he pronounced it that way, to me, that was extremely profound, and that just 100% confirmed what I thought. And I'm not the first one to think this, because I found this somewhere, way back when I was doing my theological studies. So, but it did confirm it, and it was very profound. I mean, it just cemented that into me, which goes to other things like the lone shooter, which we've had we always have that. All the shooters always seem to have 3 names. The active shooter is the new one. By the way, on Showtime, there's a series called Active Shooter America Under Attack. It goes through all of these events, but Sandy Hook's not in there. Uh, Orlando is in there. Right now, I think there's 8 episodes. So if you have Showtime, go to On Demand and look for Active Shooter and watch those and see how they explain everything away or how they try to move the narrative. And actually, it's like I was talking about that. Actually, to be honest with you, the way they present that stuff, if you got to be strong in what you believe, because they can actually probably flip you. They may make you start to think, well, maybe that was real. You know, and there are some that I do believe are real. I'm not saying that the ones that are on there are, but there was a shooting at UNC Charlotte maybe a month ago. 2 people were killed, and I believe that one was real. I believe all the fake events are just planning. You know, this generation now has grown up knowing all of that. Like that little girl said in what was it? Whichever one where the kid got shot in the head, in the back of the head, it came out of his neck, and he looked like he had a CVS bandage slapped on his neck. And his mother was this something nurse, ER nurse, IR nurse, whatever, and she was worried. And the kid sitting on his front porch at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, he got shot that same day. Who in the world do you know would get shot in the head and get released from the hospital so they could sit on their front porch swing? No. My man that got shot during the bombing when there wasn't no shooting going on was still in the hospital when they recorded, interviewed him, which he didn't get shot, but, he said he did. Yet he was still in the hospital. But this guy gets one in the brain, out the jugular. Let's just slap a CVS bandage on there and send him on his way. Which is almost believable now that I've been to the doctor regarding this shit. Because that's when I went to the ER, I was there and it was like, okay, just go home, take some Tylenol. Alrighty. I did that twice. The second time they gave me an IV, gave me some kind of steroid, put me on prednisone, sent me on my way. Didn't do nothing for me. So finally, I think we have exhausted the variables. I get the MRI on the 11th. But anyway, back to that. Like that girl said, I knew it was going to happen here one day. Well, now this whole generation is trained to expect that. So, and actually to carry it out. They're expected. Somebody in that school is expected to be the one kid that's the quiet kid, and then he comes in with an AR-15 and starts blowing people away, blah, 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 blah. And I'm not trying to be insensitive to people that truly believe this happened. That's just my take on it. All right, guys. I know, I've kind of wasted a little time here. You just have to please try to deal with me here. I'm doing the good grief. No, that's the blind dog. He's walking around behind me. He's probably wanting in, which means I have to get up. All right, guys. Look into that. I know that I probably should have waited. I probably didn't present this as well as it should be presented. And Matt's aware of this. I talked to him about it, and maybe he can, if I can give him some more information, and maybe he can present it a little more eloquently. He's a lot better at this than I am. I'm still not comfortable being behind this side of the camera. So anyway, so that's it. Something that just popped in my mind. Actually, I saw it again somewhere a couple of weeks ago, and I mentioned it to Matt then, and I told him that, I always thought it was a play on words, because I had found an article about it way back when I was, and that kept coming up, and that word kept coming up in my research. So, and even then, I just thought, it meant what it meant, that was a real word that Hebrews used, because I don't speak Hebrew. So yesterday, I actually decided, why not call a rabbi? So, and the thing is, I called one, I couldn't get anybody. Called two, or the next one I couldn't get anybody, and then the third one I called, I actually got a secretary, and I was telling her I was trying to research a word, from Hebrew and whatever. She said, "But what's the word?" And I told her. She said, "That sounds like a question for the rabbi." So anyway, she transferred me straight to him, and he answered, and I talked to him, and for a long time. And I told him, I said, "I'm sorry to bother you with this question." He said, "No, I wish that I could get 10 questions like this a day, instead of who's going to be cleaning up this, and when is the soda pop coming in, and blah, blah, blah." In other words, he gets asked some stupid questions. He doesn't ever get anything to talk about, I guess. But anyway, guys, everybody have a good one. Uh, please be good to others, and just take care of yourself, guys.